since 11:22.
Oh, perfect! 11:22.
And look, this beautiful brother just sent $11.11. Thank you.
Thank you for supporting Sology.
Yes, I'm so happy. We had a 12.12 today. That was a good one. We got a 12 cents. I think it was a mistake. That's the one that sent the 12.12, but it was perfect. They're always perfect. We bless every one of them. Okay, I got to get us both on stage.
Yeah, I don't know how you can get us both with that orientation.
Well, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
We'll just make it happen.
All right.
This is how it works. We're also, okay, so here's what we're doing. Oh, I hadn't even started.
We're here. Well, I'm started. We have Keith. Hey, Keith.
So, hey, Keith Allen K, what's up? We're back in Sedona.
Hanging out in Susie Beiler's office.
Mm-hmm. We're doing double time here. This is Sology. We started late. And Keith, I saw your thing the other day, the last one you did, and it was pretty incredible.
Oh my gosh, Keith's work
Isn't he amazing?
Absolutely amazing. Shout out to Keith. Amazing work.
So this is Susie Beiler, my
Hey.
beloved sister from Sedona.
Hello.
We are at the good guidance of the producer, basically, of this energy we call Sology, Morgan Lee. She said, get out there in the field and go talk to some people in Sedona because this is where it's happening. So I'm over at Susie's house, and as usual, we're just making it up as we go. Spontaneous, creative, intuitive, imaginative, and depending on what we're talking about or doing, courageous. The I am soul. That's what this is all about. We are moving in real time now. All these old stories and attachments and what do you call it? Resistance and judgment. All this stuff is becoming so irrelevant. You know, it's like it's not serving us anymore. And you know, to me, it's like the mother goddess is the mother bird, and she's kicking us out of the nest. I don't know how you feel about it.
I don't feel like I'm being kicked out of the nest, but I do feel like I've chosen to leave the nest.
Yeah.
And it was a choice. Like I could have stayed, but I would have been super miserable. Well, that's super close.
Yeah.
I would have been super miserable if I had stayed in the nest.
Yeah.
So I did choose to leave.
Yeah.
So that my wings can open up.
Speaking of wings, there's Wing and Laurie.
Yeah.
We've got people I don't even know, man. Annie Zumo's in the house.
Hi, Wing and Laurie.
Yeah, right. So this is a new fad. We did this with Ryan yesterday. Is that his name? Ryan? Rion. I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
That's okay. I call him Ryan, but Rion. Yeah.
I was at Rion's and he did YouTube and I did Facebook, and it was actually pretty cool. But yeah, he'd been here for 12 years. How long have you been here?
Almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years.
Yeah.
And
January will be 6 years.
Yeah. And so where do you think we are now? 2019, 2020 is about to come. God, so many.
I think we are on the precipice.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. We were talking before we went live, you and I. We were talking about the feminine, the masculine. We were talking about money and gold, and we were talking about all these different things. And one of the things that I feel where we are right now is there are those of us pioneering. There are those of us on the front lines who are holding the space for this mass prosperity for the light workers to come in. And one of the things I've been working on is working with my womb space, dropping down into my sacred feminine, my divine feminine, and holding the space. Most of my life I've been in my masculine energy. Push forward, make it happen, do, go. And this past 3 months, I shut it down. I was like, I am not doing anything else without the support that is required for my mission. I'm going to pull back and let it come in. And so for those of you who are working with the divine feminine, this is really important, because if you want the support of the sacred masculine, you must be in your divine feminine. To the degree to which you can be in your divine feminine, that's the degree to which the masculine can meet you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you are wanting the sacred masculine to step up and support you, then you must be the opposite polarity. Right?
Yes.
We can't have that balance if you're not playing your part. Right now, this may not always be my part, but right now my role is to be with my womb, hold the container, hold the space, keep the container clear and clean, hold the space, for the sacred masculine energies to rise up and support my mission.
I love this. And so let me give you another perspective, which is the same thing, coming from the other direction.
Awesome.
So I dig the fact that you own your masculine, and I also understand that many divine feminines out there, they had to do the same thing. A lot of them were single mothers, right? They had to work, they had to clean, they had to do all this stuff, and so it was really patterned energetically. It was embedded into their whole dynamic, right? So, I was a very successful corporate guy, and all that stuff. Alpha male, big time competitor, always had to win, and all this stuff. And then I woke up and I went on my journey and going down the road to start building Sology. And of course, because of my background, I'm thinking, you can commercialize it, for lack of a better word. You've got to make a living somehow.
Monetize
it would never work. It never worked. Every time I brought in structure, it didn't work. Then I ran into the beautiful goddess Morgan Lee, who started talking to me. And after about 2.5 years of being stubborn and ignoring and not understanding, I did get it. And what ended up happening was, beginning the summer of 2018, now this is all related, I started to, I didn't know how to get in touch with my divine feminine, but I knew how to surrender to the mother goddess. So we went through a lot of stuff. And then at the beginning of the first of the year, it transferred to the, let's say, the business side of spirituality, the business side of ascension. How do you maintain yourself? How do you deal with abundance? And so what happened was, in this process, I didn't know how to get in touch with the divine feminine, at least to the extent that I needed to. Let me say that. But what I did do was I just gave up. I gave up the control.
You surrendered.
I surrendered. And I mean, it was painful. Yeah. It was a very painful process. But what ended up happening was, it I guess, not to sound cliche, but it made room for this feminine energy to come in, which is what I was describing to you happened to me last night. And it is a womb. That is, as I understand it, where everything's created, and you can't create magic, alchemy, healing, whatever, from that womb space, that creative space where everything comes from, unless you're clean. And to me, it's not about gender, but it is this masculine energy that was embedded in all of us that is being transformed now. So I just think, from a man's perspective, it's refreshing that you're saying really the same thing.
Yeah. And I was having this thought before you came over. I was having this thought about, Todd and I've had this conversation about business and money and things like that. And why, almost 15 years now, I've been in business, and I've never been able to do it the traditional way. Why? Why haven't I been able to be successful the traditional way? And I really got that because of the pioneering role I'm playing, if it would have worked the traditional way, I would not be open to what's coming and to what we're creating.
That's very true.
I would have been stuck in that because, consistent money every week, every month. Yeah, let's do that. Why mess around with this thing over here? But this thing over here is where the magic is.
Yeah.
This thing over here is where the miracles are. This is where the good stuff is happening. So I'm not saying that if you're making money from a traditional business that's bad. You're just playing a different role. And the role that I'm now okay, I will fully embrace it, is that pioneering role of the new paradigm on planet Earth. And not to say that I can't make consistent money in my business, or a lot of it. It's just, it's going to unfold a different way outside of the old paradigm. Yeah. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. It's going to be different.
How bold are we going to get here?
Let's go.
See,
I'm all in. Let's dive in.
Yeah, this is why I know. There are no coincidences. Everything's happening sequentially in a very synchronistic manner. It's serendipitous. It's the grace of God, goddess, timing. It's all, everything put into one space in the present moment. So we're having this conversation. I totally relate to what you're saying, and I just want to say a couple things. One, for everybody out there who's been holding space and trying to find that new way by not following the old typical patterns, which is not throwing dirt on any of that stuff.
Right.
But, you've held your ground from a higher perspective because you followed the guidance, and it's here. It really is.
And it was part of our integrity to do that.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it's right. And so I can sit here and say, okay, I don't see traditional 3D commerce or 3D business templates working, even in lightworker circles. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to convince anybody. But what I do know is that myself, my partner, people like Susie, have been listening to this guidance that I translate, as I received it a couple summers ago, as a 5D commerce. It's based on gifting, it's based on an equal energy exchange, it's based on paying it forward, and it's based on the honor system. Like, nobody's going to say, how much money did you make, let me tax you. The universe doesn't have to do that. So the bottom line is that I think the time has come. So, here you're looking at someone who's part of an organization, a primary co-creator, one of two, who we've been doing this 8 years. We have a reach of 1 million to 2 million people a week, okay, with about a 20 to 25% engagement. We don't even have a website. And the reason we don't, and it's given me fits, but the fact remains, we have to take ourselves out of the linear. It doesn't matter if you didn't do something 6 months ago or 2 years ago. I see people raking in money, and we're not quite there yet, but we are in abundance. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that, give yourself some credit, give us all some credit. We're all blazing trails in some form or fashion. We all have certain roles, and let's take some pride in that. Let's turn that into a positive. We've come this far. There's no turning back now, even if we wanted to. So it's right here. You said we're on the precipice of,
yes. Yeah. Well, I want to give from my heart like a kudos or a thank you to Soulology. And I was saying this to you yesterday. Thank you for showing up consistently, because the thing that's been happening with a lot of these, pioneers, the way we're doing things, is they give up too quickly. It's disheartening sometimes, and so we get discouraged. And so I just want to thank Soulology, you and Morgan, and the Soulology quantum field for showing up consistently, because that's what it takes to create this new paradigm. We need to show up consistently. We need to show up with integrity. We need to show up with love. We need to show up with acceptance of each other. And it's not always an easy thing to do. This journey it's not for wimps. It's really not. It takes that perseverance. It takes that consistency. And it takes a really deep knowing and confidence that this is my soul mission. This is why I'm on the planet. And if you don't have that, if you don't know with every fiber of your being that what you're doing is what you came here to do, you'll give up. And that's the source upon which I draw when things get tough, when the money gets low, when whatever. That's the source upon which I draw my soul, knowing that I am in alignment 100% with what I came to this planet to do. And I've sacrificed things and people and left things behind that weren't part of the mission. And, it's a lot of, I'm not a martyr, but there was a lot of sacrificing. Like, this doesn't serve my path. Like, for example, I'm not someone that can have casual sex. And, when you have sexual needs and desires, they may not get met, because I can't just interact with any energy and be okay with that. My energy field has to be pure. It has to be clean for what I'm doing. And so there's been so many things like that I've left behind because they're not in integrity with the mission. And most people aren't willing to go that far because it's too uncomfortable. And so I'm asking you guys, step outside your comfort zone, stay with it, because we're making progress. We're seeing it in the political arena where the chaos is just spilling everywhere. That's progress. Right? It's progress because the crap is being illuminated. It doesn't feel good, it looks messy, but it's progress because we're seeing the stuff that was once hidden from us. This is progress. So stay with it, you guys. This is so, so important. And if you don't know your soul mission, if you don't know why you're here, let's get that sorted out, because we need everyone to step up and into their mission. And you don't have to do it like I've done it. You know, you don't have to go crazy like I have. You can do it in your own way. But you know, the more you step outside of your comfort zone, the more rewarding it is, the more fulfilling it is.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Just preaching to the choir. You see her little shirts back here? She's making I want to get close-ups of these in a minute. I think they're dragons.
Yeah.
Dragons.
Those are my dragon watercolors.
For the children's book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For The Dragon Who Swallowed the Sun. That's my book.
Yeah. The Dragon Who Swallowed the Sun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Should I get the book?
Yeah,
You
get the
see
book.
it?
Yeah, get the book.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to talk
You
about.
guys. I'll be right back.
We're going to talk about some of the stuff that Susie does. Yeah, we're going to do that. And one of the things she does is she plays a didge. And she's going to be at the Soul Gathering on Sunday at the Sedona Community Center. It's at 1 o'clock Sedona time, which is 1 o'clock Pacific and 2 o'clock Mountain. And so she's going to come in at 3 to about 3:20, 3:25 and do a sound healing. Is that right?
I
Or whatever
mean,
you want to do.
I'm gonna show up and we're gonna see what Spirit wants me to do.
That's the way I like
Fair?
it. That's
I
the
know,
way.
it's
That's
the
the
way
way
you
I
like
like it. So, anyway, she's going to be there. You guys can tune in online, and if you're in the Sedona, Greater Sedona area, Phoenix, Vegas, we got some friends coming from LA. Somebody's coming from Florida. So it's going to be a really different kind of combination of frequencies that I don't think has ever been put out there. And I put a lot of stuff out there, 3,500 productions. So I think it's going to be fantastic. And it's going to be some improvisational and a very wide variety of expressions and a lot of divine feminine expressions, because that's what we need to see more and more of. Go ahead. What do we got?
Yeah.
Oh, you already wrote it.
I already wrote it. Yeah, it's published. It's on Amazon.
Is that backwards?
I don't know.
I think
You guys can see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it backwards?
I don't know how that
Let's
works.
see, how does that work? Yeah, it's backwards. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's called The Dragon Who Swallowed the Sun, in case you can't read it backwards.
The Dragon Who Swallowed the Sun.
Yeah.
Wow, you drew that?
I
Yeah,
watercolored
I
every illustration. They're all watercolors.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
So you can get that on Amazon?
You can get it on Amazon.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And is it made for children?
It's made for children and, wait for it,
Big kids.
your inner child.
Ah,
Yeah, and big kids.
very cool. So I don't know if you've caught. I mean, obviously everyone has a life, but for the last, I don't even know how long. When did this start? This started about a year ago when I was in Sedona, or about to go from Sedona to Hawaii. But then I had this whole dragon thing happen while I was there without Morgan, then with Morgan. Then Morgan turned into a dragon. Then Morgan put a dragon claw on my chest and morphed and all these other things. And then about 2 weeks ago, we had the coolest thing happen. We were in Washington State staying at a friend's house sitting, and these two twin dragons came into the bedroom and merged with us. Oh my God.
Yeah, Morgan was telling me about that a little
So
bit.
gasmic,
It's so exciting.
cosmic. But anyway, so what can you tell us about dragons? I mean, what's your relationship and connection with the dragons?
Okay.
Because it's been kind of a mystery to us. She's always saying, what are the dragons? To me, the only thing I know about it is that, or at least from my perspective or my intel, is they have and had and will always have something to do with pure creation energy. Almost like they're, if I had to put it in human words, it's like when we devised this or designed this or about to create it, they were like there. They were like pillars. I don't know if that resonates with you.
It does resonate with me. So I am a fire dragon in Chinese astrology. So I carry that dragon energy, and I actually channel the blue dragons. So my perspective of the dragons comes from those two sources. So the blue dragons say that, a long time ago, dragons were here on planet Earth, and because everything's in polarity, we live in a polarity universe, some got sucked over to the dark side and started, being naughty and misbehaving, and so that's why there's a lot of fear people have around dragons, because of the history that they've had on this planet. There are still some serving the shadow, but a lot of them are really here to help us. A lot of people have dragons as their guides. A lot of people just, have a resonance with dragons and don't know why, but maybe because you have a dragon guide. But they are here to assist us, and specifically the blue dragons. They're in the 11th and 12th dimensions, and they are here right now to help planet Earth and humans with the ascension process. That is what is in their hearts right now. That's what they want to help us with. And they don't impose themselves on us. They only work with permission. So what they said to me was, if you want us to help you, you need to ask us. You need to give us permission.
Yeah.
And they work with our hearts. This is, again, specifically the blue dragons. They work with our hearts, and they work with what they call our super minds, which is like a spiritual intellect. It's higher than the brain. It does involve intellectuality. Is that a word? It does involve our intellect, but it's a higher intellect. It's a higher mind.
Yeah.
And they have very well developed super minds. So that means they can see things that are hidden from, they can see beyond the veil.
Yeah.
They can see things that are hidden to most. So I just actually did a channeling with them yesterday, and they were talking about climate change.
Oh, really?
Which was very interesting, yeah. That'll be, just a plug, that'll be available in the Creation Temple and on Awoken TV, and eventually on Suzanne's I Spy TV. So, yeah, I can't give away too much because that's...
So, yeah, and one thing I noticed about the dragons is they don't play. Like, they're not there to they're not
there to fool around, but they do enjoy playing.
No, I mean play like they're yes, they
around.
Are. Yeah, I felt some of the deepest
they're
love.
Powerful.
Yeah, some of the deepest love I've ever felt came from the dragon energies.
Yeah.
Like it's just like this incredible love, but when it comes to doing the work, they don't fool around. You say you want to do this, and then
they're like, oh, okay,
let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Exactly.
That's a big deal. So you have so talk to me about. I know we talked about this before, and here's the thing. Susie is typical of many, particularly divine feminine. Okay. Out there that have been doing this stuff for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years in relative obscurity. Some of them have relocated and work in a specific area like you do here, Shakina does here, Sandra Walter has done it Shasta. I mean, they're out there doing it with no notoriety, no resources, and living in that sometimes lonely world. Not lonely as in I miss everybody, but alone like there's nobody else. Where it's just you and the universe having this incredible communion, and you're following the guidance and direction, and it's not always easy on the human aspect. So she's been doing this a long, long time. So the Creation Temple, as I understand it, as I'm looking at this etherically, this is the composition of your life work, your life force, and your heart. And your heart and your mind. I mean, your super mind, your dragon energy, all the connections that you have. Yeah. So tell us what it is. Tell us what your vision is of it. I know, like everything in the Ascension, there's always a reset button, so it could change every day. But where is it at today, and how can people get involved and find you?
Oh, wow. Okay, there's a lot of questions, and I'll try to remember all of them. Okay, so the Creation Temple is an online membership website. And the master creators, the supreme creators, and I meet every week live via video. And so those top level members get personalized support, personalized channeled messages. They get the activations, the meditations. They have a soul family with whom they can rely upon. And we have now been together for 3 years. We're celebrating our 3-year anniversary right now. So we've built this massive, powerful quantum field of energy, and when people step into this quantum field now, they're starting to have very fast results. Healing, more wealth and abundance, like just more spiritual gifts coming to the surface, more clarity and understanding of who they are, why they're here on the planet. So it's an intimate soul family, and it's very I'm just so grateful. It's very precious. And it's also those who come in at the lower levels, at the lower paying levels, they're still stepping into that quantum field because they're getting all the meditations, all the activations that we've done over the past 3 years. Everything's still in there. Like some people are like, have some rolling content. There's too much in there. Take it out. And it's like, no, it's all part of what's supposed to be in there. Again, doing it my way, not what people tell me to do.
Now this is done online, mostly online.
This is all online.
Yeah.
And I will say also that you are a creation temple. You, Todd, are a creation temple. You, Anna Weberly, are a creation temple. You, Ricky, are a creation temple. We are all temples of the creation that we are meant to bring forth. And the idea, the vision behind this is to have a sacred space, to have a sacred container where people can come in with their visions, their dreams, their heart's desires, their soul desires of what they want to create, and put it into this container that I've created and that the master creators have created.
Yeah, Janet asked, so when the show's over, she'll come in and put...
Yeah, absolutely. CreationTemple.com. It's very easy. CreationTemple.com.
But we'll go ahead and make sure the links are on here too.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. One of the things that I really love about you...
Wait, before we...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
There's one more really important thing. Tomorrow,
yes,
I'm doing something we've never done before, and this is by the grace of the master creators. They have agreed to step up in service and open up our private meeting to the public.
What time's that at?
10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, you guys are early risers. I'm kidding. So 10 o'clock Sedona time? 10 o'clock Pacific, and so what? They go to a Zoom link? Or
yeah, so I can also give you the Zoom link that we can put in the comments.
Right on.
And this is something very special, you guys. We're going to try it out and see how it goes. We may be offering this more than once, or we may not. I really don't know. I do everything according to guidance. So this is a very rare and special opportunity. Tomorrow we're going to be doing an activation with the public. So if that calls to you, if anything that I've said to you about the Creation Temple calls to you, join us tomorrow. It's going to be very special.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about Susie Beiler, did I say it right?
Yeah, you got it.
At least I got that one right. I never can get anyone's names right. So the one thing I love about her, is I call it the Soulology energy. It's where you just rip off the Band-Aids, rip off the mask. Don't worry about how you look. Don't worry about how you feel. But having the etheric balls to just pick up the phone and just tell it like it is. Knowing that you're not always balanced. Knowing that there might be some shadow coming through. Knowing that you might be on top of your game and find out later that you're not. You know, whatever the case is. But
showing up.
Yeah, showing up. I love the fact that you're so raw, and I've seen many different examples of it. We were talking about something that's been really big on a lot of people's minds for a long time, especially people that have been doing what you're doing. You know, doing some type of energy work, practitioner, or having some type of energy, or like a Soulology, or something that takes your 100% of your time and efforts, and then looking for reciprocation. And fortunately, we were looking for it in 3D old ways, but we're starting to see some things come back to us. So I guess my question is, in the rawest form, I had many come to, I call them come to Jesus meetings with the universe over the last 8 years, where I really just hit the end of my rope. I'm like, you know what? We need to have a talk. And things always happened from those talks. I'm just curious, in particular, because I think a lot of people are getting hit with this right now, in particular when it comes to the energy of money, resources and such, how have you handled getting through those rough spots, because you can't help but get dejected, you can't help but to get demoralized and disillusioned sometimes. I know we've gotten stronger. I know the collective energy is picking up and it's affecting all of us, but how do you handle that?
Well, you know, earlier when I was saying that my soul is my source, the knowing of why I'm here, the knowing of my soul mission is my source. That's it. When it gets hard and I don't feel like continuing, okay, Susie, why are you here? What is the mission? how can I be of greater service? That's actually one of the things I did in this most recent, I went through, I called it 5 months of hell.
I saw that one.
And at the end of that, I was like, okay, how can I step into greater service? Because that's what's going to get me out of this funk. That's what's going to get me out of this pity party that I'm having for myself right now. How can I step into greater service? And when I asked that question, the energy started to shift. And it goes back to, I'm here to be of service on this planet. That's why I came here.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to have the normal life. I came here to be of service because I bring valuable light codes and energy signatures that are unique to me. And it's the same for everyone else. And so in those times where things feel challenging, icky, like you just don't want to continue, you have to go back inside and remember why you're here. And my mentor was having a conversation with me. He was like, Susie, what are you doing? You know why you're here. Go get back into that remembering, you know? And I've had my mentor for 15 years, which thank you, Ken Chin. I love you. I appreciate you. I mean, just even that is such a blessing. Most people don't have that. Most people don't have a mentor that sticks with you. And because he believes in me, when the times come, if I don't believe in myself, I'm like, oh, well, if I can't do this for any other reason right now, then I have to show up because he's invested in me. And I have to, it's like an accountability thing. I have to, and I want to show up for that relationship. And it's not usually that, it's usually because my soul, is directing the whole thing.
Sounds like a special relationship.
It's so beautiful, Todd. I can't even, I'm gonna cry because yeah, because what person gets another human being on this planet that can see them in a way that you sometimes can't even see yourself?
Yeah.
And consistently shows up for you.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about the divine masculine and divine feminine. Like, if I ever have doubts that I'm supported, it's like, well, I know Ken's gonna be there for me. Like, if nothing else shows up,
we got his first name.
Ken Chin. His name is Ken Chin.
Ken Chin. Okay.
If nothing and no one else shows up, I know he will.
Yeah.
In 15 years, consistent.
Wow.
Consistent showing up.
That's a blessing.
It's a blessing, and it's also an inspiration, and that's another reason why I created the Creation Temple, because I wanted to be able to show up for other people like that. And so even through my 5 months of hell that I referenced earlier, even during that time, I was showing up for my Creation Temple members. And
do they have other mentor relationships? Like, do other ones evolve inside the temple? I mean, like other people pair up?
Oh, yeah, that's happened a little bit. Yeah, there are definitely, like, what happens when you get together with family, right? You have this person over here that believes this thing, this person that believes this thing, this person that has this orientation and belief system in life, and it's all different, but there definitely are people who resonate with each other more than others, and so they have a different or a deeper connection that can happen, yeah.
That sounds pretty cool, that 15 years. I have one like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
She's hot, too, but it's only been 4 years. I have one that keeps me... No, I'm kidding.
Keeps you on track.
Yeah, so right on. So I was curious. So, like, okay, so you connect with the dragon energy, and I know many other energies.
Yeah.
Like, so what are your go-to consistent connections? And my second question is, what is the most profound experience you've ever had, physical, non-physical, or whatever?
Why do you have to ask two big questions at the same time?
That's
this
just
is
my
like too
stuff.
much for my brain.
So what are your go-tos? What are your go-tos?
The Blue Dragons, Prime Creator. Prime Creator is like the first big energy that I channeled. My soul first and foremost. It's hard to put into words because here in Sedona there is an amplification of energy, and I have what I call an open nervous system, which means I have many, many channels open to many, many places. I'm a bridge to many, many places, and I don't know all of them, and I don't consciously tune into all of them. It's kind of soupy.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important ones, my soul and prime creator, those are my biggest go-tos, because that's where I get the clearest information from. You know, like I'm connected to the Arcturians and other, you know.
At the end of the day, it's I am soul. That's me.
Yeah.
Which to me is, I look at it the same way.
That's the thing.
Because I do see, in my own journey, I mean, like when I have these discussions, my soul voice I can hear very clearly, and obviously I can hear the universe's voice, but there's some of it's integrated, but there's still some separation, I guess is what I'm saying. It's not one voice. There is, like what you call prime creator, I might call universe, but my soul, I can hear the two voices actually having a conversation. You know, when the human steps out of the way.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
So what was
the other question?
The other question was, I had like 5 more.
Oh my gosh.
One
at a time, Todd.
The other question was like, so what is the most incredible, profound experience you've ever had? You know, a lot of us have had experiences that were physical, or in the non-physical, or both. Okay. Or I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I would say my awakening.
Yeah.
I was on the acupuncture table, my mentor Ken Chin.
Mm-hmm.
I had just met him. It was session number 6. I had just come back from a weekend at nutrition school where a woman that I had met in a clinic where I had gone for treatment for chronic fatigue syndrome. She saw me at the school and she looked into my eyes and she said, "Susie, you don't have CFS." And I was like, huh. And that's why I was going for acupuncture treatments, because I was like, let me try one more thing. And so while I was on the acupuncture table, I had the memory of her looking in my eyes and saying, "Susie, you don't have CFS." And I was like, oh, she's right. I just knew in that moment, she's right. And it was as if every cell in my body turned on and came into that knowing also. And it was so profound, and without a shadow of a doubt, I knew I was healed.
Yeah.
Like, I was done. I was done with the chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
I was done with the adrenal burnout. Done. Complete.
Wow.
I was healed.
And then that's when the fun started.
Oh my gosh. I had 2 weeks of bliss.
2
weeks. I got 2 weeks. And then it was like, okay, time to dragon energy, time to dig in and get it done. And then it was all the shadow work and all of the transmuting and all of the slogging through the mud.
One of the things that comes up now, like, because the awareness changes. I mean, the awareness has expanded in all ways, right? Like you were talking about things that are being disclosed and so on and so on. Because that really opens up a lot more stuff. So one of the big deals has been, a lot of us, like myself, had many, many years of memories of galactic wars and this and that and all that, Pleiadian and reptilian and all the different extremes of the extreme polarities. And so I see it now as, and I'd like to get your perspective on it, I see it now like we've got enough information. We know everything we're looking at is ourselves. There is nothing out to get us. I mean, this is just my opinion. And it seems like that level of balance for myself and others that I'm observing is opening up this huge creative force, this huge ability to create at warp speed beyond quantum. So I don't know. What are your feelings about dark and light? Where do you stand with it today? Are you at peace with all aspects of the universe, or where are you at in your journey? Because I know there's a lot of people that are still dealing with this and struggling with it.
Yeah. So just a bit of context. I speak from the perspective as a very, very sensitive empath. Remember I mentioned I have an open nervous system, which means that there are many channels open. There's a lot open here. Now, because we still live in 3D, because we are still dealing with shadow forces, I still experience the polarity. And I do experience attacks from time to time. And I do experience a need to protect myself. And yes, everything is one, and la la la, and unity consciousness, and la la la, and it's all love. And,
no, but I get what you're saying. So let me ask you this, and this is not about. I do these shows because I'm so blessed because I'm basically a client in a session, or we're doing a mutual whatever you call it. I try to expand from it. So like I carry some of that, and I can identify with some of that. And I wonder to myself, because of some of the experiences I've had, are these aspects showing, are these my own aspects with some physicality, with some non-physicality, showing themselves to me?
I think I understand what you're asking. I'm gonna say it in my way. When you are attacked, I'll use those words. When you're attacked, it sticks if there is something in you that resonates with that.
Good point. Yeah.
If you're attacked and you can just let it slide off your back, it's because you are clear of that energy within your being. There's nothing for it to hook into. There's nothing for it to magnetize to.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah?
That's good. Yeah,
Thanks.
because like
I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah, well, I have too, and I feel like it's a big, not a big one, but it's a block for us. Just like say money was a lesser block, but we have these certain blocks that are common denominators among us. But I'm not even saying that when something shows itself to me, that I know whether it is or it isn't. But I do know what you're saying is true, and so what ends up happening is I found that like the field of my field becomes its own protection. It just becomes like, like you said, like water on a duck's back. It's impervious. And when things come at us, because it could be something as simple as somebody triggers you, or it could be, some of the things that come into my bedroom at night and look at me and they're pretty off-worldly, You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it could be, either or. It could be something in the most dense physical human interaction, that someone just pisses you off, or it could be something like I just described. But the truth is, the energy of it's the same. It's knocking on your door, trying to get your attention, and this is the conundrum. I mean, how do you? But I like your explanation a lot.
Yeah. So what do you do with that? You work on yourself. You work on yourself to clean out that stuff, and you'll know there's something you need to work on when you're triggered, or if you are under an attack and something sticks, you'll know you need to clean that up.
Yeah, but would you even classify that as something that makes you uncomfortable and you can't get it out of your head? Like, yeah.
It doesn't have to be an attack.
It doesn't have to be spooky, right?
Yeah. It doesn't, and it doesn't have to be the boogeyman coming after you, or something conscious trying to get you. Yeah. It could just be, I'm triggered by this.
Would you say, what is the most important action that we can take day to day in this transition we call ascension? Or I guess the thing we remain most vigilant, most cognizant, most on the lookout for. What can benefit us the most? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Strengthening your connection with your soul. Strengthening your connection with your heart. Strengthening your connection with the truest, purest part of you. Cultivating the relationship with your soul. Cultivating the relationship with the purest part of who you are. And using your soul as your source to keep your energy up, to keep your vibration up. Using your soul as your source so that you can have discernment. Is this right for me? Is that right for me? Using your soul as your source to stay centered. Because I've been talking about this so much lately. There's so much going on right now on the planet. There's so much, shadow stuff coming into light. And for those of us who are empaths, those of us who are sensitives, we feel that stuff. It's easy to become distracted by all of that. It's easy to get on Facebook and be distracted. It's easy to watch the news and be distracted. And so the most important thing we can do is focus and not allow ourselves to become distracted, because the distraction takes us off center.
Yeah.
And then we don't have as much to give, and then we can't serve to the greatest degree.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It goes along with the answer she just gave too. I was just thinking, was the boogeyman or an attack a distraction? But like she said, if it sticks, that distraction actually is
it's serving you.
It's serving you. Yeah. So you know, yeah. I love that. Shadow work. Yeah. Shadow work being the base component. None of us can get away from. I don't see anybody walking on water yet. I'm gonna go out and try today, but it hasn't.
I'm coming with you.
So, listen, I just want to publicly say this, okay? It's a big honor for me to be at Susie's space, okay? Because I know, being a hermit and having being bonded with a fellow hermit, that it's very difficult to have people into your space. I want to thank Sherilyn and all the others that have opened their homes and their energy field to us. But I just want to say, and because we all have that empath thing going on, and like even when we go to a light worker gathering, we're like, oh my God, I got to go do people now, you know. But I just want to say, I really want to say that I'm so happy to be here. I have so much respect for Susie, and I'm not just saying that. I'm not going to say something like that. I really, really do.
Thank you.
You know, we don't all have the same patterns and understandings and this and that, but one thing there's a lot of people that I don't want to break bread with, that I have the utmost respect for. She's not one of them. I'd love to sit down with her anytime, but I'm just trying to say that we're all different. We're all different pieces. But there's one thing that I absolutely respect, honor, love, and revere more than anything coming from the human aspect, and that's somebody who's put it out there and who continues to put it out there and who's diverse in their expressions and openness, because this is a never-ending story, and it's a pleasure to be doing it with this beautiful lady right here.
Thank you so much, Todd. Can we end with a teaser? Like, can I read part of this book?
Yes.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
I just wanted to say creationtemple.com. Okay, and she's going to put up the link for that and the link for the first time she's allowing public. They're allowing the public into the meeting, and then she's also going to be Sunday at the Sedona Community Center. But I'll put out more stuff on that and more lives, and then, of course, her book. This is her children's book.
This is the children's book.
Yeah, The Dragon That Swallowed the Sun.
For your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, and your inner child. The Dragon Who Swallowed the Sun.
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, I'm getting there. Okay. This book is for all of the starseeds and masters who have agreed to take human form and brave the journey here to planet Earth. Thank you for being here with me. Once upon a time, there was a shape-shifting dragon. Oh, they gotta see the picture.
Looks like Morgan.
There was a shape-shifting dragon named Ella who swallowed the sun. She was very special because she could change the way she looked. Oh, wait, let me back up. It all began on a beautiful sunny morning when Ella looked at the sun and she felt its radiance. She felt its beauty. She felt the sun's presence and power. I gotta let these guys see too. Mm-hmm. As time passed and Ella flew around the sun, she continued to feel the beauty and the power of the sun. She felt how the sun warmed and how the sun helped things to grow. And she wanted more. She wanted more of the sun. Here. And so one day, when Ella was flying around the sun, an overwhelming urge came over her. She flew straight into the sun and swallowed it. Huge dragon, tiny sun. sun was warm, and the sun was bright, and the sun was powerful. And as it moved into her belly, she felt alive, and she felt full of power and beauty and light, and it was amazing. Oh, I'll show these guys this picture. In the following days, as Ella flew around with the sun in her belly, she noticed that everything was dark and that the plants and trees were dying and that life had gotten cold and dark and shriveled up and disappeared. And she knew that she had made a grave mistake. Ella knew that the sun needed to go back into the sky, but how? How could she get the sun out of her belly and into the sky? And so Ella began squeezing her belly muscles, trying to push it back out. You can see her belly muscles all tight. She's ripped.
It looks like my six-pack.
Yeah.
Buddha bellies.
And so Ella began squeezing her belly muscles, trying to push it back out, back through her throat and back into the sky. But it didn't work. Ella became quite sad, for she realized what she had done. She realized how life was dying and that she must find a way to get the sun back into the sky. What do you think she's going to do?
I know what she's going to do.
All right, don't tell.
I'm not. It's beautiful.
So if you want to know the ending, you can go to dragonspeak.com, or you can, look it up on Amazon.
I know. That was great. That was a teaser. I thought she was going to read the whole thing. I want to know what it is now.
Oh,
I think I know what it is. You know how it is when that intel comes in, you're like, okay, did I really get that? So I'm pretty sure I know what it is, and it's beautiful. Thank you.
I had another level of the metaphor of that book recently in my own life. I was like, we're almost done on battery. Okay, it's time. I was like, all this stuff, how am I going to get my son back into the sky?
Right.
Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for joining.
Yes. Thank you. See y'all later. Peace out.
See you Sunday.
See you in an hour and a half. The next thing we're going to do.